Reclaimed is the podcast for the woman reclaiming her power through conversation, somatics, breathwork, plant medicine, and epic conversations. I am Kyla Gagnon, and this is Reclaimed. Hello, sweet friends. Welcome back to the conversation. It is the Monday before Christmas. Oh my gosh. And if you're listening to this, I am getting this episode out for 6-8 hours later than anticipated. I am definitely in the holiday spirit and completely forgot to edit and upload this. So here we are. And this is just kind of a fun episode that I have with my sweet friend Ellie, who has been on the podcast before. And Ellie is she's a pleasure priestess. She's a witch. She is a sweet friend. She is a partner. She's a dog mama. She's a coach. She is so awesome. If you have had an opportunity to meet Ellie or to be in an online space with Ellie, it takes no more than like 13 seconds for you to fall in love with her. And so we're just having a chat. We recorded a podcast a while ago and both of us were like, do you want to just record like girlfriend chats every now and then? And it was both just a hard yes. We are talking about the retreat that we are co-facilitating in Mexico, November 2025. So you will hear that spoken about. And of course, there is space there. And if you want to join us, yes, please. I'll put the link in the show notes. So just like kick back and relax. There's, I can't actually even remember at this point. We recorded this early November. So I'm not even positive all of what we talked about, but it was funny. There was laughter, as there usually is. And I hope it brings you a little bit of joy on this relatively, it's either incredibly chaotic for you this close to Christmas, or you're totally relaxed, feet kicked up and having a great time. So wherever you are, sending you so much love, and I'll let that go here. We'll see you on the other side. For a long time.
I think I've been going to that studio actually now for 2 years.
Okay.
And I've gone through another nail tech that left. And then when I got stuck on, like, shout out to my gal Sanjena, like your gal that you go to that you're just like, there's no one else. Mm-hmm. I can go to Sanjena. She has another gal working there named Alicia as well. That is like 10 out of 10. Actually, Alicia's the one that did my pussy portal on my nail, and my snake. But I can go there and just be like, this is the most random thing that I would like decorated on my nails. And they're like, great.
I love that.
Can do. Show me some visual inspiration. This is how we're going to change it. All right. Thanks.
Love it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, but mine are gone. They're gone.
They are gone. Are you going to start pottery?
I'm going to start pottery.
Yeah. I should have brought some show and tell pottery actually, because I just got a bunch of things back from the kiln, and my love is like, you gotta get a new thing that you make. Like, you can't make any more mugs. You can't make any more bowls. We need something else in the cupboard because the bowls now sit on the counter. I was like, okay, fine. Some of them will be, once I finish, being attached to them, some of them will become holiday gifts, maybe.
That's my fear around this, just knowing myself the way I know myself, is I will get obsessed. I will make all the things. Mm-hmm. I hope that this is actually long-term. I actually really, really hope that this is a thing that I stick to. But historically speaking, I'll stick to it for a while. And then something will happen, like a snap of a finger, and I will no longer be doing that thing. Mm-hmm. But I will have 78 mugs and a bunch of bowls, and I don't know that I'll be able to gift them or give, that, get so attached.
Do you understand? I made this.
I made it. So I am very excited. I don't know if I'm actually going to start quite yet. I looked up a few studios in Victoria that do like 5 or 6 week beginner series, and there's one starting really soon, and I don't actually feel ready. Just November feels quite full, but then I'm like, is December really the time? And maybe it is. Anyways, I'm overthinking. I should probably just commit. But I'm very excited, and you've been my inspiration, so thank you.
You're welcome.
But I feel naked. I feel like little nubbins.
Yeah. Those are nubbins. You have no fear of scratching anyone.
That's the problem is I was a household scratcher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to
Cam was
teach.
like, "Can you get the spot? There's a spot." Tucker loves it. Big scratchies on his bum.
Yeah.
Paloma got kind of fired up. She didn't love the scratchies. They get her really activated. But
Yeah.
yeah, my purpose is now gone.
Yeah, yeah, another
It's like,
scratcher. I saw on Instagram, I think, this guy who has taught his dog to scratch his back, like a chihuahua or something like that, to scratch his back for
to do
treats.
that.
Yeah, to dig, which is brilliant. I was like, why?
So good.
We have 4 diggers in our house. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we not putting this to good use?
Yeah.
So we may have a new trick we may have a new training session that happens for at
Here
least
for
some
it.
of the dogs.
Love that. I keep trying to get to train the dogs to kiss me for a treat. Kiss, 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 kiss,
And
kiss. No, not so much. I got Tucker to do it a few years ago for a short period of time, but I didn't stick to it. No, they're so smart. They're like, I am not your puppet. Like, stop it.
This is what I say. Ruby, my pride and joy. They're all my pride and joy, but my original pride and joy. She is the kind of dog who loves to perform.
Oh.
She's a performer. Like today, I was just handing out treats. Auntie was here; she was so excited. And then I said, "Oh no, we do treats or we do tricks for treats. Remember?" And so I had her do some new tricks that my friend had not seen yet. And she was like, wow, like circus animal. Yes, circus, pony, just show ponying. And so she's totally into doing things with a pay. She loves to work, she loves to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
The Chihuahua, he knows what you're saying, has no care in the world to perform for you. And yes, you will still give him a treat.
Mm-hmm.
You will.
Mm-hmm.
He earned this just by existing.
Which is true.
It is the truth. It is
the truth.
It is the honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's fine. Okay, pal. Yes. So when he came over, he was like, "Yeah, treats. I'm interested in this. I could get behind this." And so I asked him to sit, and I'm not even kidding. His back legs bounced maybe like a quarter of an inch, like to pretend like he had intentions to sit, but there was no way that he doesn't do tricks for treats.
Yeah, he's his own man.
Yeah.
Tucker, because his legs are so short, similar to your Chihuahua. I mean, Tucker's legs are really short, but he sometimes will do a full sit, but sometimes he just does the hover. And I'm like, I can see under. You're not sitting. You're like in a half squat. Still gets the treats.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. A for effort. There you go.
Here
you
are.
arrived. You will get a treat.
I mean, we'll give them anything they want, let's be honest. Anything and everything they want. Speaking of ceramics, I was gifted this weekend.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did somebody at the retreat make this?
No, but someone at the retreat gave it to me. She said, I saw this. It reminded me of you.
Yeah, like, it's beautiful.
I don't know what part of it reminded her of me, but I'm quite grateful for it.
What's in your cup today?
Well, tea, because my fucking espresso machine has been broke. Have I talked to you about this experience?
This is not the first time it's been broken.
Oh, no, it's just still broken. Here's the thing. Okay, so... Okay. When did it start? Okay. Wow. Let's back it up. I bought this espresso machine off of my sweet friend Avalon, who I know that you know.
Mm-hmm.
They had it for probably a year. It's like, I don't know it's a Breville. It's like the mid-range Breville espresso machine with like the grinder built in and anyway.
Lux.
Bought it off of them, probably about a year old. I've had it for probably 3 years. So let's say it's 4 years old, approximately. When I got it and I was using different beans than they were using, it got really sensitive and really finicky. And I was like, oh my God, this thing doesn't work. And I went through like a bag of beans, many tears, trying to figure it out, changing there's an external grinder and an internal grinder, changing all of them. Anyways, finally figured it out and then had about 2.5 years of the best lattes, like the best lattes in town. 100%. Game over. I make the best lattes in town. Then we go away to Croatia and our sweet friend Samantha stayed at the house and watched the dogs. I drink decaf. I am totally fine with caffeine, but I just choose decaf. and she likes caffeinated. And there's a difference in the oil of a caffeinated bean to a decaffeinated bean. And so again, so she's, she's at the house for 2 weeks making coffee. I come home, she's like, meh. It was like kind of finicky. And then as soon as she left and I was back to the machine, it was like back to the same issues, totally not working. Sort of figured it out after a couple of weeks. It was like good enough. It had lost its spark, but it was good enough. Then we went away for a weekend. She came over again, stayed with the dogs for the weekend. And she's like, I just like couldn't make a coffee. Like coffee would like spurt out, water would spurt out of where espresso should drip down. It would spurt out of the top of it.
Oh my goodness.
So I tried a whole bunch of things, messaged Breville. They told me to, what to do, tried a couple things, still not working. So Breville has said, you can send us the machine back. We'll do a free diagnostic on it for you. And then we'll send you like whatever needs to be repaired and the cost. And if you want to do it, great, we'll do it. Otherwise, we can just send you a 25% off discount for a brand new machine. So that was probably, when did we get back from? Let's say that was 2 months ago, 2 to 3 months ago that I had this email conversation with Breville. I haven't sent it in because I'm like, it just feels like such an annoying thing to like get packed up and like, how do I package it up and how do I send it away? And it just feels really annoying. So in the meantime, our sweet friend Meg has lent me a smaller DeLonghi espresso machine. No grinder, but the machine, which is amazing. So now my setup is like, okay, I grind my beans in the Breville.
Oh, okay.
Then I move it over to this other machine that I've been lent, which worked quite great actually for about 2 weeks. And then it just stopped working also. So that happened today where it just stopped completely.
Okay.
And so long answer is I'm drinking tea that is not steeped the way I would like it. It doesn't, it's not tickling any fancies at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not enjoying it. And as soon as we're done, I'm going to go get a latte. And I'm and so I'm still back to the, like, is it worth it to go and package this heavy, bulky machine up? Or do I just take their 25% off and go buy a new machine? But
right.
I'm just like, I just don't really want to spend $1,000 on a coffee machine right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm not going to downgrade. Like you can't go back.
No. I completely understand. You can't. I also, it's so interesting because I think we need to bless your coffee machine or something. We need to like do a full investigation. What's up? What do you need from me?
Yeah.
How can I love you so that you can love me?
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm.
And if we're speaking differently, what's your love language right now? If we're speaking different languages, you know what? I will learn a new language.
Mm-hmm.
And if that new language is that only decaf beans get put in you, I will honor that.
Mm-hmm.
And I will get a Bodum for my guests, my caffeinated guests,
Yeah.
Something, because this is a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. And the amount of money that I have now had to spend on going to get coffee. Anyway.
Yeah, you don't buy a fancy machine to then have to still go to the cafe.
No, and they're never even as good. Here's the thing. I can taste the seed oils in your non-dairy milk, and I don't want that. I hate it, actually. And I can taste it so much more in an iced latte than a hot latte. And I don't get seed oil. Like my oat milk is like just oats and water. And it's good. I have such an annoyance about this. And it actually just happened before we got on the call. So there was this like wave of rage that came over me where I was like, I hate this day.
Fucking seed oils.
Seed oils and broken espresso machines. Pissed.
Yeah, I hear you.
Pissed.
We had to buy a new machine. Actually, a couple of years ago, I found my favorite decaf beans.
Uh-huh.
2 things, actually. One, if you're a decaf drinker, Rabbit Hole Roasters out of Montreal, Quebec, sells decaf coffee. And It is impeccable. They actually make one of their signature roasts becomes a half calf because their decaf beans are so delicious. My mouth is watering. That they put the decaf beans in their own personal rabbit hole blend. So it then obviously makes it half calf, which, okay, fine. Great for all you caffeine drinkers, like maybe this means you can even enjoy even more because the caffeine isn't affecting you in that way. So
Might be their sales pitch. That might be strategy.
It might be strategy. And so I for years I ordered the Rabbit Hole decaf beans, the Mexican decaf, because baseline delicious. Then I moved out here and tried a variety of things, didn't order from them anymore, kind of like got an espresso machine. And my love, who has ADHD, drinks like 120 coffees per day, practically. And so I needed an effective way to like get coffee into them that wasn't going to a cafe, because I'm like, no. And so we bought an espresso machine. I actually really love an espresso coffee every now and again, so I buy decaf and espresso. There's only really one that you can buy. Well, there's a espresso and a coffee, but there's no variety. Like if you didn't like that espresso, or if you didn't like that flavor, too bad, so sad. So then I just recently, in the last year, started buying my beans from a cafe on Commercial Drive in Vancouver called Moja Coffee. And their beans are so similar to my beloved Rabbit Hole Roasters that I'm in. And so if I want a quick coffee in the morning, of course, or at any point during the day, usually in the afternoon, then I will make myself an espresso. But otherwise I brew in a Bodum-like container. It's stainless steel, because I'm also weird with like plastics and stuff like that. Picky is what it is. And so the way that it gets compressed, kind of like a Bodum, and then it's double walled so it stays hot. There's nothing like a hot coffee. Am I right? There's nothing like it.
You're right.
And so I have a stainless steel kettle that I just like boil my water in and whatnot. And I really love the ritual of making that coffee. And
that's what I miss. That's it.
There's something about it. There's something about being able to just like press the Nespresso button and be like, a minute later, have your coffee and it's hot and foamy and delicious. But there's something about the ritual in coffee making and the aroma. Like I grind my own beans as well. Like there's something about it.
Truly. And even Cam, like my grinder's like kind of loud. And he's like, I know that's loud. Like I love that sound in the morning. Like that sound, excuse me.
Good things to come.
It reminds me of home. Like this is the home. This is the sound of home. 15 minutes and 51 seconds in, I'm just going to share that we're just doing Ellie and I are just doing like just a casual chit chat. We're just moseying, having a convo, and choosing to record it to share because, well, sometimes that's just the way it should be. Most conversations should be recorded. Well, at least between you and I, most of our conversations should be recorded. Not everyone's conversation should be recorded, but we tend to have good conversations. And before we go sideways in whichever direction we want to go, I think that it would be great for us to talk about what is happening in exactly a year from today. Not today, but like a year from this month.
Now. Yeah.
Would you like to talk about that?
Come with us to Mexico. So here's what's happening. You, me, everyone else who's listening that's interested.
All of them. Everyone.
Everyone. Well, only 10 people actually, because that's all we can take.
It's true.
Come with us to Mexico, to the jungles of Mexico. In this private little facility, I'm going to have you talk a little bit more about the spot because you know all about it. For the most amazing goddess retreat that you have ever imagined. I keep thinking about this, and of course with me, like my nipples are literally hard right now. I keep turning myself on with like, ooh, the things that we're gonna do. They're gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so good.
Tell me about the spot, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about what's the haps.
So the spot is, I'm actually on their website right now just to see if there's any if they have like a really beautiful write up of about us that I could just read to you all. But okay, here's their story. So it's called Lunita, and it's ran by a an Italian mother and son. And I don't know, he's probably in his 40s, quite handsome. She's adorable. And this all started from a dream that he had. So, what it says here on their website is Lunita was created from a dream to provide a sanctuary where tranquility and nature are the main focus. Celebrating our first year with a stellar 9.2 rating on Booking.com. Excellent. They are fan favorites. We've become a cherished escape, hosting over 100 days of soulful retreats. Our journey is one of a continuous evolution from enhancing our main meditation area. Okay, this is actually quite boring. I thought it was going to tell more about like the history of where they came from. Okay, so they wanted to create a space where everyone was welcome to heal in the way that felt good for them, with no judgment, no expectation, just like a really, I'll use the word like safe place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure of like acreage of like how much land they have, but they they found this land, and it's 40 minutes from the airport in Cancun, like into the jungle. I think there's sort of like a kilometer long road to them, like they're at least a kilometer from the main road, or main highway. Definitely not anywhere near Cancun town, which thank God, because it would just be a hard no for me. Immersed in the jungle. Their original building plans would have had them like chopping down quite a lot of trees, and when they actually got to the land and had a bit of ceremony and connected with the land itself, and had like a local shaman with them, there was this like, no, we're just going to completely readjust the floor plan. Nothing like they kept 95% of what would have been chopped down, and built the facility like around the jungle. There's this one meditate, well, they call it a meditation space, ceremony space, whatever, ecstatic dance, breath work, yoga. It's a space, and it's all glass. Like you're just all glass, and one side you look out to the jungle, and one side you're looking out to the pool. um there's a temescal, which I'm so excited about, so like traditional sweat lodge. Part of the package of hosting a retreat there, our opening circle is led by a local Mexican shaman. There's, I think there's even a tree planting ceremony. I think we get to plant a tree, which is super fun. Yeah. Um, but it's just like, it's it's beautiful. Like I want to pop, I can't show pictures here because here we are, but yeah, the pictures are beautiful. They're I don't know if they're on your website yet, but we'll make sure that the photos of the space are on both of our places where people would go, whether that's website or social. Sleeps 12. We can also open up a bit of space. So there's another floor. I think we could sleep maybe 2 to 4 more people up there, but sort of the retreat is set to hold 12 people. We have access to like cenotes and different tours and experiences, and yeah, I'm just envisioning like cacao and like ritual, and I'm envisioning like rage release and sensuality and breath work, and like I don't know, or my mind is like, do we go into like shame circle and shame liberation, and like anyway, all things possible. But the actual land itself is so freaking beautiful, and like the traditions that go like that have lived there and that hold the energy there are really fucking strong. And so to even be in a place like that and having us be welcomed in by an elder of the land feels really, really special. Yeah.
Yeah, this feels like a really intimate, special, sacred spot, time, and collaboration
Mhm.
to invite women in that really want to, I think, for lack of a better term, I'm just like, I'm rewriting my website right now. And so language is top of mind, but for
Mhm.
lack of a better term, who want to go deep
Mhm.
in better understanding who they are and why they do the things that they do. And I
Mhm.
think the thing that I love about ceremony in general, like, becoming a ceremonialist, the thing that stands out for me is just how much time we can spend in therapy. And I love therapy and have a therapist. Just how much time we can spend in therapy, and like breath work, ceremony, breath work on the same page, your story doesn't matter. I'll never forget speaking to a friend of ours who, references this often when we speak. She was she was belly aching. Well, she wasn't. She was being very genuine and honest about a limitation that she was feeling in finding a partner, and had requested, some guidance and some insight on that. And I just said to her, you know what, like, your story is boring. And not as an insult, as a,
Mhm.
like, everyone, this happens to everyone. Like, this is part of the finding love process.
Mhm.
And so this is what I think about breath work and ceremony, is that, we can go through years of therapy, and we can have, and the goddess does not speak in language. She doesn't speak in story. She doesn't care about your story. She doesn't care about who hurt you when, because and we carry that. We are storytellers, and there is a time and a place for story, but not when we are keeping ourselves limited, not when we're holding ourselves back, not when we're trying to bring to the world our greatest work, whether that is like becoming a mother, or our life's work in terms of vocation and career, or artistry in some capacity. And I think to myself, like, oh, sweet child, the amount of time I really spent steeped in my story
Mhm.
of, like, no, this is who I am. No, this is what we do. This is how I treat myself. This is how I treat others. And ceremony and breath work both say, your story is boring. Let's get to the next page.
Mhm.
I've been reading the same page over and over again. It feels like the same paragraph over and over again.
Mhm.
And I want to get to the next page because there's so much more there.
Yeah.
And we think, I remember hearing a friend of mine speak many years ago around, like, oh, I don't want to go to a therapist. She was talking about, having a hard time dealing with some things in her life, but she's like, I just don't want to go through the daddy issues. And understandably so. Like, the daddy issues get us to where we are. Let's be real. The
Mhm.
mommy and daddy issues get us here. And she's like, I just want to actually start from here and go forward. And I think that's the beauty of breathwork and ceremony, is that it allows for you to start in the place exactly where you are. It meets you where you are and says, come over here. I have a different route than you're used to taking. And I think what's so important, especially with the work that you do, is, like, we can take any Joe Blow breathwork, you know, YouTube. We can do anything. And there's something that is so, we can go to a women's circle, not a ceremony. We can go to a circle. And the circle often, that perpetuates a lot of the story, because we're in story in circle. That is the purpose of that. But the
Mhm.
purpose of ceremony is to get out of that. And so we can, there's a reason for everything, and a place for everything. But coming out of our story and changing the fundamentals through in-person work, like, I believe so strongly in in-person work, and through being guided with someone who has eyes on you. That's why I say, like, we have membership videos where you can watch, you can top yourself up. And one of the things that I really am hearing you saying in your membership right now is how important it is to come to community calls where we can talk about our story.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a place. Give it
Yeah.
a place. And then come to the live breathwork sessions. My eyes are on you.
Mm-hmm.
I can see what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that is a big difference. And so I think one of the main draws for anybody who wants to come with us to Mexico here is the eyes on factor,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are the retreat pillars. We are the temple pillars of holding you while this transformation happens and facilitating the experience for that transformation to happen, you know?
Yeah. 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 And there's something too, like, so this past weekend, there was 10 women from the membership from Breathe with Kyla who all agreed to rent this beautiful home up in Strathcona area, North Vancouver Island. And then 2 came in just for the day and didn't stay the night. So there's 12 of us in total. And it wasn't a retreat, like there was no facilitation, but it was absolutely a retreat. Like we were all retreating from home to be in the wilderness in this beautiful home together. And even with that, even with just being in shared space without being guided through any practice, but just being in shared space, being seen, being heard, having space to express, to cry, to dance, to play, to be curious, was profound.
Mm-hmm.
Profound. And to add in, like, the difference of that versus a planned retreat is, yes, there's facilitation, but there's also a theme. There's also like I don't want to call it an end goal, but there's like, we're going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We're journeying together, and probably, excuse me, through some things that might feel like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe someone would want to, like, there's curiosity, but would deke out if there was no facilitation, if it was just choose your own adventure. But you're being held and guided through what is created with the intention to change you in a really beautiful way, to not change you, but to, yes, but I am going to use that word because I think everything changes us. Every day we're different. Every experience changes us in some way. And the intention with this whole thing is to have you leaving feeling bigger, brighter, more connected, more powerful, more in your body, more, I want to say more ancient, like more the way we're supposed to feel, the way it's supposed to be. And so because we've all been living in this modern society, those ancient practices will feel different and maybe uncomfortable. And we're going to do it together because on the other side of that, we know there will be change, the change that we're all desiring. And so from attending and from leading retreats of various different kinds, it's pretty impossible to explain. It's something you have to experience, but the power in coming into a retreat space that's held in such a loving way with such beautiful intention, like it changes lives. It actually does.
Yeah.
It actually does. Being in shared space with other women is pretty great.
Pretty great.
It's
awesome.
pretty great. And to be able to let someone's doing all of your food. You don't have to cook. You don't have to think. Like, you literally don't have to think. Wake up, whatever the agenda is, we're going to go do the thing. You don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
What a gift. I can't even believe it's 2025 and I don't know, a week. And so for those of you that are running a business, or those of you that are thinking like, maybe this is the year that I start my business, I want to invite you to join us inside of the First 100K Mastermind. This is a business mastermind for the women who are working towards that first 6-figure year. It's a very, very exciting year. And just because I've been there and I know you are going to come up against your own limitations, your fears, your stories, all of the things that every human has, but they really seem to show up in like really bright lights when we're trying to run a business. And so that's why this mastermind is rooted in somatic. So you get full access to the Breathe with Kyla membership so that when you do feel like you're about to hit that next level and that old limiting story is sneaking up, you have the tools to move yourself through those stories so that you can actually then step into the next evolution of yourself and your business. Currently, we're still in 2024. The price is $197 a month. And come January, it's going to be $297. So if you are like, yep, this is me, I'm coming in, I have 5 spaces open and we're going to cap it there. Link is in the show notes. Just show up.
Yeah, what a gift! What a gift it is to be able to take your foot off the gas pedal from like organization and like all of the invisible load of running a household, of being a matriarch, of any of those things. You know, it's true. I was thinking about something while you were talking, like how do you explain to somebody what's going to happen? And it's like, you know, we can talk about the steps of things. Like we can say, okay, like on Monday we're going to do this, and on Tuesday we're going to do that, and that is really, you know, for a lot of people that soothes their nervous system, who want to know, like, okay, what am I getting myself into? And I think that's fine. That's fine. I got you. I will tell you the steps. And then I'm going to tell you that they're going to change. So these steps are actually just a very loose outline.
Yeah.
Because the dynamic of the group really makes up the steps that we take. You know, the route that we get to the top of the mountain, if you will.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this concept a lot. Like we can all get to the top of the mountain, but we all take a different route sometimes, or we can take a different route. And one's not better or worse. And then I also think that the magic that happens in person, like in the retreat space, is that you get to turn off that part of your brain that is thinking about the organization of your life, and you get to remember for those 7 days or however long that you are in retreat, you get to remember these ancient practices that we have. And the remembrance in it of itself is a healing process, because we don't have that environment on a day-to-day basis for the most part. And it's something that our soul literally craves. And if we talk about deconditioning for a moment, we have all of these, you know, personality traits, rules, regulations, social norms that we live with every single day as part of our conditioning. And what retreat, ceremonial, breath work, any of those things, what they do is allow for you to go, like, you turn a different part of your soul on in that remembrance, which then has this trickle down effect for the rest of your life. So instead of, you know, making the decisions that you might be unconsciously making, you've made different decisions based on this ancient technology that is actually inside of you, that you just need to know where the switch is. And that switch, once it's turned on, once it's activated, you know, it makes you A, want to come back for more. B, it also makes you kind of, and not question in the terms of like, oh, what was I doing before? But question as in like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I do this sooner? And I think, you know, our work, our life, a lot of this is not designed, especially through societal expectation, it's not designed to allow women to have this ancient technology switch flipped, because we live in a society where, for now what seems like eons, we have come away from this divine and sacred feminine energy and knowledge, and we have turned towards other things that actually, as we can see right now, aren't serving us. And as soon as we come back to this place that feels like knowledgeable, we may have no previous knowledge of this, but when we touch that again, there is, I think we talked about this before, even like 7 generations of trauma that can be passed down, which
Mhm.
also means that 7 generations of wisdom
Mm-mm.
can be hiding
Mhm.
until that switch is flipped. So
That's a good one.
light work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Mhm. Yeah, this is it. This is it.
This is it. Can I talk a little bit? Do we have time for me to talk
Yeah.
a little bit about archetypes for a moment?
Yeah.
So, hi everyone. Let's talk about archetypes. The priestess school that I'm a part of, we're the 13 moon archetype sacred arts school with priestess presence, and our fairy grandmother, our fairy godmother, Ariel Spilsbury, is the brilliance behind formatting these particular 13 moon archetypes. That an archetype itself is just like a caricature of someone. But the reason that we turn towards archetypes is because in our small self, in our egoic self, we are taught to believe that we are all unique, which yes, we are all unique. But in the uniqueness, we have separation.
Mhm.
And the 13 moon archetypes are here. These divine feminine archetypes are actually here to encompass all of these 13 phases. The 13th archetype is the alchemical goddess, which is a reflection of the 12 other faces all in one. That when we have this knowledge of the archetype, that's this face, we can start to see how it applies to us. And so when we learn about the archetypes, we can be like, oh, we're really having a creator destroyer day over here, or the god, I'm calling in the goddess of love. And we can start to see, even in certain situations in our life, how we can apply the qualities of these archetypes to better understand ourselves. And I think this is the real bridge. As a priestess, my role is being the bridge between the etherical, or the work of the 13 moon archetypes, and the present day, or the modern day woman who is coming to discover herself, if you will. And so we talked about a rage circle, and one of the archetypes that I adore. I'm like, do I not adore? Okay, there's a couple of them
Mhm.
that I'm just like, you're my challenge over here. The muse is one of my biggest challenges, which you would think,
Mhm.
as the muse is like a playful, kind of very childlike, very joyful archetype, but you're in constant high frequency of play. It's tiring for me. That particular one
Mhm.
is a challenge for me. And for other people, especially like if you are a theater kid, you are in your muse 24/7.
Mhm.
Pretty much. But the archetype that holds a lot of this space for us to process anger is the creator, destroyer, and preserver.
Ah.
And I think what the CDP is, what now she will be endearingly referred to for the rest of this conversation and probably until eternity. What my goodness, CDP teaches us. No, yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah, you're
teaches
right.
us. Like, how'd that
Mhm.
T get in there? That's from. What she teaches us is how to be allowed, I'm saying like in quotations, how to be allowed to express our anger, because society tells us that we need to sit pretty, don't be angry, good girls aren't angry, good girls let things slide, good girls don't bring up things, and we have this suppression, we have this like generational suppression of being able to express our anger in a very raw and authentic way. And CDP really, what her initiatory phase is like, is very like schoolyard pushy in some ways. Like, what else you got? What else you feed me? Feed me your anger. Oh, I'm getting chills. I will eat this for you. But there's 3 faces. She's often represented as Kali Ma, but there's 3 faces for her. There's the creator, there's the destroyer, but yet there's the preserver. And so we have this creation, and we think about like nothing that's created can be created without some sort of friction, and friction is anger. Even if we think about this on the very basic level, because come with me into the world of sensuality and Scorpioness, if you will, for the rest of my life. We need literal friction sometimes to create a baby. And we need friction to then get, if we're feeling displaced feelings, we need that friction that sort of gets those up and out of us. And so the creator is really here to create that friction in our lives and to create this moment in time for us to evolve, but to create, if you will, something. And so, we think that anger as a societal norm in women is like, be nice to your friends, be nice to whatever. And it's actually part of the creation process is to have this level of friction, this level of anger. And then we have the destroyer, and the destroyer is here to really as the primal face of Kali Ma to destroy everything. And I think of fire in this sense that just because we've burned the log does not mean that everything is gone. It's actually just transformed. The wood has been transformed now, which then the ash can be used to, change the pH of the soil, which then can allow for the next tree to grow. There's this phase of destruction, and I think this is where we really get hung up on this as women, is we get hung up on that fully expressing the destruction, because this is where the good girl kicks in. This is where she says like, I should bite my tongue in this. And we're not offered spaces to truly be upset about things. And the rage of the CDP is that her rage capacity is much greater than any rage you could ever fathom. She can handle that. She can come up and she rises above this. And so I think that a lot of the dialogue for us, especially as we go into this space of rage, like either through ceremony or through other offerings, we sort of hold back because we still go like, I can't fully express this, like, because what will happen? Transformation will happen. It will come up and out of you. Get that out of you. Let Kali, let CDP eat that for you. And there's also this intimidation here that often happens with women within this archetype, that she says, I'm scared of you. I'm scared of this rage because this rage meant whatever in my childhood, whatever story we have attached to this. And Kali says, I don't care. Give it to me. I am starving for it. And then we have the preserver, and the preserver is I think such a key piece outside of like the three faces of Kali Ma, this red, black. The red is the creator, the black is the destroyer, and the white as the preserver. What she comes in and she says, I'll sit with you. Oh, I'm getting chills. Oh, and emotional. I'll sit with you because in like, how powerful is it to just sit in someone else's wild, abandoned emotion? How amazing and transformative is it for someone to say, I will be here. You keep going, go further, go more. I will be here. And that transformation becomes the key, I think, for Kali Ma. The key, because she teaches us exactly what we need to feel complete in that cycle. And the woman's rage cycle is not complete in societal norm. It's broken. We get to the creator part, we get to the part where we're feeling the rage, and then we get stopped, and that gets stored in our body forever until we're able to actually bring it up and out. And I think the piece that completes our nervous system as the preserver, it completes it because she says, to us, like, you're not too much. You will never be too much. I will always be here. Like, everything that you can bring to me, I can handle. And I think that's so key for women and out of the box for women. And I think that it's so potent to understand that the sacred feminine arts are different. The rage is going to look different than the rage from our masculine counterparts. By definition, estrogen rage and testosterone rage look completely different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that we can't flail around or whatnot, but to really watch that come up and out of somebody is a gift, is such a gift. And so
It
the
really
archetype is really here to for us to witness that. Like, your story doesn't matter. Yes, there are parts of your story that will literally come through your body. Like, you can see the bubbles of words practically like pop as they come out. And your story is my story. I know. Your story is boring. I've heard this one before. I've said it before myself. And yet it's so important. It's so important. But the work here is really getting over, like, going beyond that. And we can't do that with words. We can't do that with words. We can do that through actions. We can do that through ceremony. We can do that through sacred geometry, through breath work, like through sound healing, through frequency. The baseline is we do that through frequency. I'm like, end rant. That, my friends, is CDP. Welcome.
So Mexico.
Yeah. Be prepared to meet CDP. She will come along with us.
I like, a lot of the conversations I'm having in my work right now is around the goddess, and I'm like overarching claiming, like titling goddess, but the goddess, at least the way I envision it and feel it and share it, is all of the archetypes. It's us in whole form. But the meat and the potatoes of it, AKA the part that we struggle with as women the most, is the darkness, is the shadow, is the emotion, is the rage, is the grief, is the pleasure, is the joy. Like, it's actually allowing ourselves to access not the surface. We can all do that. The depth, the stuff that really feels uncomfortable. And until we allow ourselves to access the depth, we don't land in the embodiment of the goddess, the overarching whole complete goddess, the unfuckable with woman, as I'm now adding into that, because that's what happens when we get to that point. So I am so personally excited about that portion of, I mean, the whole retreat could be that. We could do 7 days of that. We're not going to, but we could. And maybe another time we will. Yeah, there will be an element that's coming in for sure. Wow. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that in.
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. The goddess herself, like, thank goddess for her. The goddess herself and how she teaches us to be, like, it's the consciousness of being that is just, I'm in awe. Like, in speechless awe in the work that we get to do, in the work that we personally get, like the transformation that we personally feel through our own work, and then facilitating that transformation for others is just like, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So short answer is come.
November 24th to 30th. Yeah. 2025.
2025.
Transportation's there for you. You just need to land your little cute butt in Cancun. Probably by the 23rd would be ideal. And we'll take care of the rest. We'll get you there. We'll feed you. We'll serve you. We'll love you. We'll bow to you. We'll anoint you. We'll whatever. We'll play with your hair. We'll hug and kiss you if you need us to. Give you little pinches on your tush if you want us to.
Strictly business, though. Okay, strictly business.
Totally business. It's only because you're paying us.
So true.
And then we'll get you back home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you have questions, reach out to either Ellie or myself, and we'll give you all the sweet answers that we can.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do more of this. We are going to do more of this. We've already decided. We decided last time that there was going to be just girlfriend chats and check-ins and talking about the world and the chaos and the joy and all of the pieces of it. But let's save that for next time and leave this on Goddess Retreat vibes. Is there anything that you want to add to that?
My ad actually is, may you all have delicious coffee.
Oh, yeah.
At every point. Come back to this for a moment. May us all, we all deserve a delicious morning beverage. And my wish for you right now is that you get that.
Yeah.
While it's hot, if you'd like to drink it hot. While it's cold and still with ice cubes, if you like to drink it like that.
'Tis the season for hot here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes,
but,
it is.
Well, I'm going to go get a decaf latte because it's 3:30 in the afternoon, Z's. And it's time. I love you. Okay. Not entirely sure of the exact date of this going live, but in the month of November, is there anything that's happening in the world of Ellie that we can jump in on?
Yeah, there is something really exciting. Of course, there's something really exciting.
Always.
End of November. Mm-hmm. In particular, November 30th, new moon. Come with me. I'm reformatting my program Holy Eros to be a 3-month program where we're going to deep dive into sacred sensuality, ceremonially. Like, what does any of that mean? For 3 months. And so what you need to know is that this is going to be a program that you get to come into to learn more about expressing, bringing, and living in our sacred pleasure, which is really the point. Like,
yeah,
I think it's the point anyway. And so we're going to be washing away, the goddesses they'll show up, the archetypes will show up, of course. We're going to wash away some of our shame around this. We're going to wash away any of the expectations about performance that we have about this. And I want to get back into this idea of really coming from a place that we are experiencing pleasure, but we are pleasing ourselves.
Yay.
And so there will be an element of that for sure. It is a 3-month program. Come join.
Beautiful. Me. I would love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you. Send me the link.
Yeah, will do.
Send me the things. Go enjoy your love. I don't know if your love is home right now and all of your fur loves, but have a really good day.
Thank you.
And we'll all talk soon and we'll all be back soon.
Yes.
Yay.
Bye everyone. We'll see you soon.
We'll see you also soon.